Good morning from Jonesboro, Arkansas. It's around November 18th, something like that. So today I'm going to talk about the reliability issues with the Tesla Model 3 2021 long range model. Before I get into it, look at this, 28,228 miles. And yes, I know there are people out there with the Tesla with 150,000 miles that's had zero problems. I know you exist. I know you're out there. I know there are others out there that have had a lot of problems in 20, 30, 40, 50,000 miles. It's up to you to try to figure out, if you're interested in one of these cars, to try to figure out the truth and what you can expect. For those that just hate EVs or hate Tesla or hate Elon Musk, a lot of you unfortunately are just going to jump on the bandwagon that they are pieces of junk, they're not worth having, and if you get one, it'll be a miracle if you don't have tons of problems very quickly. Okay. There are others, the Tesla slurpers, that are just going to be like, no, these are the greatest machines ever built, on and on and on. But then the majority of you want the truth. I still believe the majority want the truth. At Arkansas EV, you'll get the truth from my perspective. All I can do is speak to this one car. It's up to you to go out there and find other cars, other videos, other owners, and see what they say. Piece it all together, do some research, and figure out what you think is likely to happen if you buy one. Okay? Now, this car, 28,000 miles. I have no idea how the previous owner treated it, but I've already put $1,000 repairs in it. What about the warranty, you say? The warranty on Tesla is 4 years. Yes, I'm under the mileage on warranty, but the bumper to bumper is out in 4 years. It expired in May, I think it was. About 2 weeks after I bought it. I've had the upper suspension replaced, $800 or so. It was a lot of money. I've had 2 tire pressure monitoring systems replaced. That one right there, the front left and the back rear. I almost went ahead and replaced these 2 while I was at it. A Tesla expert told me that the original Tesla TPM sensors are junk. And I'm not going to say who told me, because it's a private conversation, but a mechanic, he said, I replace them all the time. He said, I replace them with Autel, A-U-T-E-L-L. He said, they're way better. And I think that one has Autel in it, and I know that one does. It cost me about 90 biggins for that one to be done, and somewhere around 75 or 80 for that one. I bought the part from Amazon, and put it in... I went up there to Plaza Tire and they installed it and charged me something like $27 or so. But I'm telling you, I love this car. I absolutely love it. And the full self-driving, I'm pretty much addicted to it. As I've said before, I absolutely love it. And that's another thing I'm going to talk about. Lately, I've had 2 elderly people lately tell me that their Toyota has full self-driving. It does not. I didn't have the heart to tell them it didn't. I don't know why that is. You know, I haven't had any young people tell me that, but both times it came up in the conversation when I was talking about this car's full self-driving. Like, I was talking to my elderly aunt last night, and you know, she asked me about my car, if I had any more problems out of it, and I said, not really. I didn't mention the whole TPM sensor I had replaced the other day. You know, it just wasn't important enough to tell her and go into that conversation. I just told her, not really, it's fine. And so anyway, I told her, I said, but I'm fully addicted to I'm absolutely addicted to full self-driving. I said, I have the car driving itself 90% of the time now. I love it. And she said, our new SUV also has full self-driving, but we never use it. And it doesn't. It has lane keep assist, and I'm not even sure how well it does that. You people that have the Toyota system, it's a 2025 model, I think RAV4, but I'm not sure. How well does the lane keep assist work? And you know it's not full self-driving. And all I told her was, well, it probably just keeps it in the lane. It probably doesn't stop at stop signs or red lights or make turns. I said, and I told her, all the other systems like that, you have to keep your hands on the steering wheel. The Tesla, you don't have to. did explain to her how this camera, where'd it go? This camera right there is watching your eyes to make sure you're paying attention to the road, and if you're not, it yells at you. But anyway, she thinks she's got full self-driving. It's fine. Let her think it. It doesn't matter. She, you know, I didn't want to correct her for a few reasons. One, even correcting my elders on something that don't matter still feels a little good to me. You know, I don't like doing it. And I'm really careful when I correct my elders. I'll put it to you like that. And so anyway, I didn't want to get into it with her, you know, telling her she was wrong. And besides that, it really don't matter. It really don't matter if she thinks she has full self-driving. I wasn't hurt. I'm going to take over full self-driving here because I want to go the back way. And look, click on it, it won't let me. Sometimes the full self-driving will let you click on the map and go another route, even if you're en route. And sometimes it won't. I don't understand why sometimes it will and sometimes it won't. But I like going the back way. I do this most of the time. And which means though I have to take over. What Tesla needs to do is they need to make it where we can punch on the map every turn we want it to take and save it in the system and name the trip. And let us do a few of them. You know, maybe even unlimited, but at least 3 or 4 routes to go exactly the way we want it to go. But then it can warn us, like warning, there's a lot of traffic that direction, or warning, there's road construction, you moron. Are you sure you want to go this way? You know, but anyway, you would think that'd be easy to do. These Mavericks are so nice. My brother has one. If I was going to have a gas vehicle, that right there is what I would buy. A Ford Maverick Hybrid. That's exactly what I buy if I was going to buy a gas car. Hey weirdo, what are you doing? There you go. Good job. Road work ahead. Ah! Okay. Next, we're going to talk about the Chevy Bolt. We've had it 2 years on the 17th. I guess it's 2 years yesterday. I actually picked it up 2 years today. Yesterday marked the end of the 2nd year. Man, look how good this car does around these curves and stuff. Look at it. Excellent. Now, this is a hardware 3. Hardware 4 is much better. But anyway, we've driven it around 22, 23, 24,000, maybe 25,000 miles. I have it documented at home, of course, but I don't have the numbers in front of me. The car has been phenomenal. We have not had to have the upper control arm replaced. We've had no tire pressure monitoring systems replaced. We've done one thing. When we picked it up, almost immediately, within a couple of weeks, it started making a beeping noise. Come on, car, go. Sometimes the stop signs, this thing is way too timid. But anyway, it start making a beeping noise, a clicking noise. You get in it and go click, 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 click. And I contacted Hybrid Electric Car Salesman where he bought it, and he said, I'm pretty sure I know what it is. It's a software update. Take it up there, they shouldn't charge you anything. I took it up there, they charged like 140 bucks. And if I wanted to press the issue, I bet you Chip at Hybrid Electric Car Sales would have reimbursed me for it. I bet you he would have. But I wasn't going to push it. We bought it as is. And I wasn't doing it when we bought it. You know. But anyway, that's it. The only problems we had, I'm telling you, the Chevy Bolt is probably the best deal you can get on any car for commuting. Not for traveling, but for commuting. I mean, if you want to look at just dollars and cents, it makes so much more sense than a Tesla for most people, most of the time, depending on your commute. If all you care about is commuting to work and back and going to the grocery store and to church and whatever, you know, things like that. But anyway, okay, back to this car and stop signs. Sometimes that stop sign, it's way too timid. It'll sit there and sit there and sit there. Then I have to take over, there's a car behind me. I'm going to take over full self-driving again because I don't want to go this way. I want to go straight. That way it'll take me back to the highway. Let me see what's going to reconnect. Okay, now we're good. See, it reconnected that to blue. Now this is the way I want to go. Alright. But it'll sit there, and I'll wind up taking over if there's somebody behind me. If not, I'll just see what it does. And sometimes at stop signs, it'll stop, set, creep a little bit, stop, set, creep a little bit, and slow. I'm scared. I'm like a little scared little girl. I'm like a little scared little girl, and then it'll go. And there are other times they'll stop at a stop sign, and I cannot see. There'll be like bushes or trees or something both sides. I'd have to be leaning forward to see, or move the car a little bit closer. I can't see anything. The car take off. I'm ready to hit the brakes in case it does something stupid. But evidently the car can see around those bushes, so I don't know. Like I said, Hardware 4, which came out I think in 2025 models, maybe 2024s, is supposed to be way better than Hardware 3 on full self-driving. If you can afford it, I would buy a Hardware 4 vehicle. I can't afford it. I can barely afford this one. You know, but if you can afford it, buy Hardware 4 if you want full self-driving. This one I think does a phenomenal job, but it's far from perfect. See, that stop sign was fine. It's far from perfect. And you do have to pay attention. It's never done anything yet where I felt like my life is in danger or somebody else's life is in danger. It's just stupid stuff that full self-driving does. Like being timid at a stop sign. And sometimes they'll sit there for, I don't know, it stops now, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi. Come on, car, 6 Mississippi. 6 or 7 seconds and goes. And then there are times it, oh, I'm a little bit scared. See, now also it doesn't recognize speed bumps, which is stupid. I think Hardware 4 does. So I gotta disengage it just for this. I know some of you are already thinking, man, as much as you have to engage it and shut it off, why would you want to bother? Eh. Someday I'll have Hardware 4, maybe I won't do it. But anyway, I love it. I've never been one that actually enjoyed driving. Maybe the first 4 or 5 years after getting a license at 18, maybe. But I've never been one that really enjoyed driving. To me, it's kind of a pain. It's just something you have to do to get from point A to point B. My EV-hating cousin, he loves to drive, even now. So he wouldn't be interested even if he didn't hate the car. Even if they put it on, he's got a Corvette. Even if his Corvette had full self-driving, he wouldn't use it. Hey, look at this. See, look, speed limit's 30 and I'm doing 45. That's another thing that don't make sense sometimes. I've got it set up in the settings to be 10% over the speed limit. Sometimes it does and sometimes it don't. It was doing 40 freaking 5 in a 30. If I got a ticket, it would have been my own fault. But anyway, he wouldn't use it just because he just enjoys driving. If you enjoy driving, you don't need full self-driving. But anyway, back to that, the speed limit. Most times it will go about 10% over, which I have dictated. Oh my God, did y'all hear that loud ass truck? I guess people like that. I've always found it kind of annoying. But he can do what he wants. I don't care. I mean, if I was in the vehicle, it would be annoying. I don't care that his car makes that noise. But anywho, it's supposed to take into account the speed limit, your settings, and the traffic around you. You know, what the other cars are doing. There are no other cars around me. So I take it, if everybody around me is going 20 miles over the speed limit, Tesla might as well. Tesla might too. Well, there's nobody around me. There's no reason to be going, what was it, 46 or 48 in a 30? Anyway, see now look, 35 and it's doing 35. Now it's doing 36. I got set where the maximum was like 38. If you want to adjust the speed and full self-driving, just move the scroll wheel up or down. Alright? So I'll show you by going to 40. Being a speed demon. But anyway, okay, now we're talking about something personal, my leukemia. You know, I was diagnosed with leukemia probably 16, 17 months ago. I got to go back to the cancer center in December. And the nurse practitioner said, don't be shocked if they suggest you start chemo. Now, normally the doctor, the oncologist, which I hardly ever see. I usually see the nurse practitioner. And I understand they say the oncologists are the people that are really bad. I'm not really bad. There are two kinds of leukemia, chronic and acute. And I always think chronic sounds worse, but I know I have an opposite, so chronic must be the good one, I think. Chronic just sounds like it should be the worst one, but I think it's the better one. So I think I have chronic leukemia. And anyway, in the last year, my numbers have doubled. My white blood cell count, last time I went to the oncologist, to the cancer center, was almost 80,000. A year ago, barely 30,000. And all my numbers are just going up. But the oncologist, last time I saw him, he said, I really don't want to do chemo if your body is handling it okay. He said, no night sweats? Nope. None of this? Nope. None of that? Nope. I said, I get tired easily, and that's it. Other than that, I wouldn't know I was sick. And me being tired easily, if I didn't know I had leukemia, I would just chalk it up to me being lazy. You know, and I'm trying to fight through that laziness. But, yeah, so I don't know what's going to happen there. But I do know it's getting worse and worse and worse. And I asked the oncologist, I said, is there anything I can do? I asked him this probably 6, 7, 8 months ago. My numbers were better than they are now. I said, is there anything I can do to keep these numbers from getting worse, to keep the leukemia from getting worse? And he said, matter of factly, he said, nope, there's nothing you can do. He said, it's going to get worse or it's not, and there's nothing you can do about it. And there's a RAV4 right there. I wonder if they think they've got full self-driving. But anyway, I expect him to say something like, eat less sugar or something. You know, but he didn't. So if you're an oncologist, a doctor, anything like that, cancer patient, what do you think about that answer? And I'm not saying it's a wrong answer at all. I have no idea. I gotta trust what he says, because I don't know. And what do you think? Anything I can do? But anyhow, alright. Well, I'm almost to work. Love this Tesla. Yes, I've had some problems. Oh, I hope I don't have any more. If I do, let it be these sensors, because they're not that expensive. Like I said, I'd almost go ahead and replace those two, but why? They're not out yet. You know, but if I have another major problem with this car, it's going to be very tempting to get rid of it. But I just love the car. I love the technology. I don't love the car. The looks are meh. You know, the ride quality, meh, good enough. It's the technology that I love. Like I said in another video, you take all this technology, the screen, the full self-driving, the cameras, everything else, put it in a Chevy Bolt. I'd rather have the Chevy Bolt. But anyway, Tesla technology is awesome. Alright, I guess I'm going to shut up now. I'm going here and yell at the urchins. You know, the other day I had one, when they asked me like how many minutes are left in recess, how many minutes are left in the class, I never tell them in an easy way. I never say like 12 minutes. I always make it complicated. One, just to be different, and two, to make them think. And part just to be different. And some of the kids, I think, absolutely love it, just because nobody else does it. Like the other day, a kid asked me, said, how much longer till the end of recess? I looked at my watch, it was 21 minutes. I said, 1,260 seconds. And they're like, how long is that? A 6th grader. I said, do the math. I can't do the math. Just tell me how many minutes. I remember it's 21 minutes. I told them 1,260 seconds. I was okay, I'll tell you. It's 1 3/4 dozen minutes. They're like, how much is that? I said, you don't know what 1 3/4 dozen minutes are? No! You know what a dozen is? 12! I don't know what 1 3/4 of them are. I'm like, do the math. Mr. Fink, I can't do the math. I'm not good at math. Just tell me, and tell me in real numbers. I said, okay, I'll tell you in real numbers. I told him, I said, okay, I'll tell you in real numbers. It's 20 and, I said it's 1 1/20th score. I should have said 1.05 score is what I should have said. But I said it's 1 1/20th score. They're like, what? They're like, I don't understand that. I said, okay, I'll tell you the truth. It's, if you round it off, it's 1/7 of a gross. You got 1/7 of a gross of minutes left. They just kind of, oh, never mind. They walked off to figure out how much. I guess I can go ask somebody else. I don't know. But these kids have no idea what a score is. They don't know what a gross is. Most adults don't know. So there's no shame in that. But we used to buy bottle rockets as a kid. We always bought them by the gross. We said, I want a gross of bottle rockets. 144, a dozen. And a score? They don't know 4 years ago? I mean, geez. But yeah, these kids don't know. I guess they don't teach them that. You know, you can't teach them everything, I guess. But anyway, all the time in class, Mr. Fake, how much longer till class is over? And they'll ask just cause they want to hear me tell them in seconds. You know, and so anyway, and they've asked me before, how can you do that? So they've accused me of cheating. It must be on your watch or something. I said, no. I said, it's easy. 60 times most numbers is easy peasy math. If you just know how to break it down. They're like, how do you do that? How do you... I'm like, well, let's take, let's say it's 25 minutes. Okay, that'd be 1,500 seconds. I told them, the way I do that is, 25 is the same as 10, another 10, then half a 10. 10, 20, 25. 10, 10, 5. 10, 10, half a 10. So we all know that 60 times 10 is 600. Because anything times 10, you add a 0. That's 600. So if 10 is 600, 20 must be 1,200. Half of 10, or half of 600 is 300. 6, 12, 1,500. And then if it was 26 minutes, I'd add another 60. If it was 27, I'd add another 120. So if it was 27 minutes, it'd be 1,620 seconds. You know? And so anyway... But a lot of these kids in middle school, they can barely do 8 times 8. So, you know, but they'll learn, they'll get it. And so, anyway, boy, I am such a bloviator. You see, I just start talking and go from subject to subject. And, yeah, and I don't know when to shut up. Okay. All right. I'm going to end this with a little video of when this was reset the other day. Not much to it. When I left the tire store. And that's it. See y'all later. Bye! Okay, getting ready to leave Plaza Tire here in Jonesboro, Arkansas. Just had it replaced. I'm kind of worried because it says 7 minutes ago. It's last time it ran. Oh, they all say 7 minutes ago. Okay. Maybe it's okay then. I was beginning to think, well, did it read it and then tear up? Now, supposedly this will reset within half a mile of driving it, or within a mile. I've heard both. I don't know what's down this road. One way to find out. I'm going down here and say, oh, it already reset. Woohoo! And plus, I should have known I didn't have the thing telling me, hey, another sensor went out, moron. Awesome. There was a guy went in there. An old geezer. I say that, but he's probably about my age, but I'm an old geezer. He went in there, and, you know, I guess he got new tires, because when he left, it was like $800 something. And so I'm out there looking at his tires. Then he came back in and said, okay, you bunch of goofy bastards, I didn't ask for the protection plan on the tires. Take that crap off of there. Of course, I'm paraphrasing, he was a lot nicer. He was very nice about it. And they're like, oh, I'm sorry, it automatically adds it. And I thought, well, that's stupid that it automatically adds it. Last time I bought new tires, they asked me if I wanted them. Wanted the protection plan. I never get extended warranties or anything with cars, but I do sometimes with tires. Because it really wasn't that much money. And you can run over something and destroy a tire pretty easily, with no fault of your own. And supposedly the protection plan I had would have paid for a new tire. This is awesome. Look at this. 42, it's fixed. So all tell, Tesla piece of crap, Tesla piece of crap. That's what's in this car. These Tesla sensors are evidently pieces of freaking junk. The splash guard underneath the 2021 are pieces of freaking junk. The control arms, well, 27,000 miles, more or less, 28,000. I've had the upper suspension replaced, the splash guard underneath replaced, it just disintegrated, and 2 sensors. And I don't know what the original owner did. Anyway, so there you go. Alright. Oh, the price, $27 and a few pennies. $25 plus tax. So, I can't remember what I paid for the sensor. The total price to get this replaced, I'm going to put it right here. Somewhere in the neighborhood of 90 biggins, which is about the same I paid to hybrid and electric car sales in Franklin, Tennessee. It's about the same I paid for him, to him. But I'm not sure, but I think he let NTB do it down the road from his shop. And the reason is, I think, because I don't think he has the equipment to do front end alignments. So when he did the upper control arm, he had to take it down there to get it aligned. While there, I think he had them go ahead and put the sensor in. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure that's what happened. Alright, you have a good day. Thanks for watching. Hopefully this is okay. Man, I'm telling you, I was teasing my cousin, telling him I ought to call this car Acme, after the Acme company that, you know, the company that Coyote bought all his stuff from. Trying to catch the Roadrunner, you know, everything he bought was a piece of junk and didn't work right. You know, I want to just change the name to Acme. I'm not going to. One thing, because this could be a fluke, because I know there are people out there with Teslas with 150,000 miles with no problems whatsoever, and I know there are others like me with 25 or 30,000 miles that's had $1,000 of repairs done to them, you know, out of warranty. Oh geez, I thought I was making a noise. Oh my god, I was scared. It's that tractor up there. You probably can't hear it, but it sounds like chains rattling. I was scared to death. Well, what in the hell's wrong with this car now? But anyway, so I'm sure it works both ways. So it could be I have a fluke, it could be this is normal. Here, if you want to seek the truth, and we all should, if your goal is to seek the truth and you're thinking about buying one of these, then watch some videos, do some research, and accept whatever truth you come up with. What can you expect? Can you expect to have a lot of trouble? Can you expect to maybe have some trouble, but it'll probably be okay? I don't know. Just come up with whatever you come up with. Just make sure you seek the truth. That's very important. You'll get nothing but the truth here at Arkansas EV. I'm not trying to convince you to buy a Tesla. I'm not trying to convince you not to. I'm not trying to convince you to buy an electric car. I'm not trying to convince you not to. You will get the truth here from my perspective. Anyway, all right. You have a good day. Thanks for watching.